Okie dokie. Is there a... Can I ping everybody? No, that's still not a thing. Okay. But I can, yeah. Okay, server is still small enough for that. And I'll go ahead and red circle live. Yeah. Cool. Okay, hey Starnt, how's it going? Good night. Oh, I gotta put some music on. Let's see, what do I want to play first? I'll play the stupid one first. I also installed my minimal rice because it's not blurry. Audio levels are good. Okay. Make it a little louder here, and it will reflect there. Right, I also need to enable global JavaScript. Okay, so where I left off is at CosmoSynth. This is where I left off. I have this. I kind of want to change the colors though, because I can see how this this blue theme is going to be kind of hard to maintain. So first thing I'm going to do is go into UI and go to Edit Style. And I'm going to change these colors a little bit. I'll go ahead and do Grove Box. Yo, what's up, Jeremy? I don't think I've seen you in my streams before, have I? Welcome. Morehead's Grove Books. Ah. It's been so long since I've streamed, like, I'm getting back into it. You know what? I could just use my, I could just use a color scheme from my other rice. Solarized Dark is also a nice color scheme, but it's kind of controversial for some reason, so I'll go ahead and use my color scheme. No, I installed CashOS. I got kind of sick of Gen 2 because I had, I kept having issues where some packages just were never updated frequently enough, so I just decided to go Arch. I always somehow end up back on Arch, so... I mean, call it gross, but Arch works. And honestly, like, I'm not an Arch fanboy or anything. I just use Arch because it works. That's literally the only reason I use it. Like, it works really, really well. I'm also gonna line these up. Kind of like how I use Helix, even though I hate Rust. Like, Helix is written in Rust, but it works way too damn well. Like, I could go use NeoVim or Vim or something, but Helix just works too well. BG, the button. I'll make, I'll make buttons. No, I'll make them a lighter gray. That's actually not an issue with Gen 2. In fact, I cheat a little bit with Gen 2. I use binary packages, which is basically where, like, the long to compile stuff just has a binary for you. I know it's cheating, but I do not care. I literally do not care what distro I run as long as I can get the software I need. And, like, it's fun to use and stuff. That's the only thing I care about. BG hovered, BG disabled, 2 ABC, 2C. I'll start with that. BG active. This is where I'll use a color. How about this color? Nice teal. I spend so much time making this color scheme and I absolutely love it. FG normal. FG active. I'll do 282828. Alright, let's see how these new colors look. Yeah, that's a lot better, I think. I think I need to, I need to update that text color though. You know what I can do? I'll just, I'll copy this. And then I'll just reuse text color. Ah. There we go. I think that looks a lot better. What do you guys think? I always compile. I mean, fair. Compiling is fair. There is a reason to compile your packages in Gen 2. I absolutely am aware of that, at least. What are you trying to make? I am trying to make, see, one of my passions is, like, music from scratch. Like, electronic music from scratch. So I'm trying to make a program for making music so I can create my own music with open source software. Hey, yo, what you writing? You writing your own synthesizer? Yep, that's exactly what I'm doing. Well, sequencer and synth. I actually have a thing I made already called a thing called Pulse VM, and it's here's a specification. It's a virtual machine for generating samples of a waveform. And it also has its own file format for storing virtual machine configurations. I also have a libpvm for actually implementing that spec and file format and stuff. So serialize.c, for example, is what writes that file format. There's also a deserialize.c. And I have the actual virtual machine somewhere. Is I think there's a virtual main. Yeah, I think it's here in main. This is the virtual machine itself. Functions on the opcodes, does stuff, whatever. Here's the public API. So I'm gonna use this for actually like creating instruments for my little music program. I also have a program I made for testing because I got a MIDI keyboard, I think for Christmas, or actually I think for my birthday. I got a MIDI keyboard. The Christmas and my birthday are very close together. I got a MIDI keyboard, and I made a little program to where I could use my MIDI keyboard to make sounds. And the program's an absolute mess, but it works, and I can play my MIDI keyboard with instruments I write in Pulse VM assembly, which, speaking of, it has its own assembler. And a test too, so if anyone implements their own emulator, they can test it with the test in libpvm. Assembled with my own assembler, of course. Come on, there we go. And the test, I hand wrote it all. It's about 2,292 lines long. What composiz is? Composiz, yeah, the compositing thing for X11. I'm not using it though, because I'm using Wayland. And you know what? Before you call Wayland gross, I have a little thing for you to think about. I use Wayland because I hate Red Hat. Now, that might not make sense at first, but then you realize that Red Hat owns both X11 and Wayland. Now, Wayland is literally just a specification on how to implement a compositor with a wire protocol and stuff. And X11 is its own thing that's millions and millions of lines of code. And like, I don't use X11 because it's so tied to Red Hat, whereas, like, for example, I'm using Hyperland right now, and Hyperland, to my knowledge, doesn't use any code maintained by Red Hat unless it's something like Mesa or libdrm, something like that. So Wayland is actually like independent from Red Hat, whereas X11 is really not. The Israel of Linux, yeah. Israel's the reason I stopped like being involved in politics and just realized how dumb the entire thing is. Like, Democrat, Republican, who the hell cares? They're both idiots. And Israel is what showed me that. Because, like, my family voted for Trump because we thought he would make America great again. And now he's just a puppet of Israel. And Israel freaks the hell out of me. And yeah, that was a wake-up call for me. Politics is stupid as hell. Wayfire seems cool, but it's written in Zig, which the thing about Zig is it's super unstable. Like, you might install the Zig compiler and try and compile someone else's code, but their code won't compile because you're using a newer version of the compiler or something, which is incredibly annoying. Okay, so I want to... I guess what I have to do now is formulate a file format and figure out what I really want to do with this project. So, in terms of what I want the project to be like, I want some kind of No, not Wayfire. Wayfire is probably very stable. I'm saying Zig is not very stable. And I don't mean like stability in terms of runtime stability. I mean version stability. Like, Zig is constantly adding, removing, and changing features, so if you have a newer compiler than what a developer has, you might not be able to compile their code due to code changes. And it's really annoying. That's why I try and stay away from Zig and instead go for something like C, where it really hasn't changed much in decades. For better or for worse. Okay, so what I want to do is, if you ever seen like a commercial sequencer, like a DAW, you'll see they have these sequencers where you put tracks, either they're samples or synthesized. I'm not too sure the details, but you have these like sequencer entries. You get the point. So I need to formulate a file format that can store these, and I also want the file format to be modular too, so I can extend it and stuff, because I'm still not too sure what exactly I want to do with this project. I'm also thinking inside of each of these blocks, they could be made up of either a sample, so like something from disk, or I want to like do something. Yeah, so like this will be a sound from disk. Or you could have it be synthesized. So you have like a square wave here, for example. Or this would fall under samples, I guess. I'll do a sawtooth wave. A little bit easier to draw. And then you might also have sequencers inside of said sequencer nodes, so like that. So I want to support all of these. Yeah, I don't like Ardor or any of the open source DAWs because they just have all these weird quirks. Like, for example, Ardor, you bake your audio setup configuration into the project itself, so the projects you make with Ardor are not very portable. Like, if you want to work on your laptop, you end up having to edit the very bytes of your project file to open it on your laptop, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, no, your audio setup configuration is the kind of thing that should be stored in a config file for your sessions kind of dumb. I get sample rate. The sample rate being a project configuration option makes sense, but not like what audio service to use. Like, do you want to use Pipewire, Pulse Audio, whatever? That should not be baked into your project. Okay, so I have this rough idea. Now, what should the file format look like? I'm thinking it should be blocks. So like you would have a header block, and it would have information, and this will be a binary file format because I don't like text file formats very much, but it will be block based, I think. So like you'll have the name, you'll have the, well, first off, actually, the first bytes, there should be like a 32-bit version integer. So like you could write different versions of the file serializer and deserializer, and it will just work. Then I think there should be blocks that don't have to be in any specific order, but, you know, conventionally the header would come first, for example, and the header would have information like the name, maybe version of the project itself, maybe. It could have, oh, okay, so inside the header block could be other, like header, opcode, prefixed values. So like you could have name, version, description, author, etc. And then you could, and then there would be a block that's like, well, first off, you would have you could have a block that's like the yeah, I'm making this with C. Let's see, a block that could be dedicated to the sample byte block, or sample bytes, and it could store it could store like the hertz, or yeah, hertz, and then the raw sample data, PCM bits, raw sample data, sample block, name. So something like this, that's how samples could be stored. And then we would need well, after making this program, I'm gonna make some fucking music. That's my goal. Some other projects though that I want to do, I want to build a Wayland compositor, and I want to build an operating system. Okay. What does that do? God, I don't want to click it. So, okay. This is how I'd store my samples. Then next I could have an instrument block. PVM instrument block. PVM is the file format used by PulseVM. And it would contain other instruments. Name PVM file bytes. Something like this. So that would be sample bytes, PVM instruction block, so a desktop environment, you might find it's actually kind of an underwhelming project. Because what a desktop environment really is it's just like a Wayland compositor and X11 window manager with some extra components slapped on top that basically start at startup. Like, I could call what I have here a desktop environment. I don't know if it would classify as one, but I could call it that. I do have another Rice which might actually qualify as a desktop environment. That being this. Built using Quick Shell. And this, yeah, like, if I were to say this is a desktop environment, no one could argue with me because, yeah, by definition, it technically is. So, that's really all you need to make a desktop environment. So that's why, like, for example, I want to make a Wayland compositor. I want to go one level below. Header, sample bytes. Okay, now we need, I'm thinking, I wanna have a concept of layers. So, like, for example, there could be a global kind of thing, and then there could be layers. So, like, for example, in these sequencer nodes, you could have layers. So you'd have your individual layers here. Whoops. And each layer would store basically they would store data about notes, and those notes themselves could be instruments, instrument IDs. So let's see. Are you suggesting that I pirate proprietary software and then get hooked on that via a compatibility layer that may or may not work? Yeah, you should probably see the answer to that question immediately, unless you were saying that as a joke. I also need an excuse to write code, so, you know. Global sequencer. So now I'm modeling, well, first let me model a layer. Or first let me model sequenced samples. So in here, this is what would actually define layers, and inside of the layers there could be a layer, or I'll just have a layer block here, and then inside of a layer block there could be an array of instrument references. Instrument ID. And then after a bunch of instruments are laid out like this, I'll have them under a loaded block, or an instruments table block. And then underneath this instruments table block will be actual references, indexes. So I'll have a plot, or an area rather, and it will store position data, size data, or position data, width data, and instrument table index. And you'd have multiple of these areas making up your sequenced layer. Yeah, this could work. I like this. And then after you have sequenced samples, you could have the organize, or the root sequencer, and it will have samples and a sample block that would store the type and ID. And it would also store, well, first I would have a table, sample table, and then under here I would kind of do what I'm doing here, where I have an area Okay, I think this is a good starter file format. Now I'm just gonna write it, and I'm also gonna copy that to make it clear that these can be repeated. Now I'm gonna read the chat. Okay, good, it was a joke. No, Ardor sucks, Q-Tractor I've never heard of, and Z-Rhythm's an alpha. Reaper might actually be one of the better proprietary DAWs. Yeah, I guess I am making a DAW. Audio GPU... GPU audio is kind of... I don't know, I think it's unnecessary, to be honest. It's sort of like more of an experimental thing. Honestly, unless it's graphics, you probably shouldn't touch the GPU, because GPUs are like a hellhole of proprietary standards and compatibility layers just to make stuff work cross-platform, and it's weird. So, let me start implementing something. Also, is this too loud? It is kind of loud. So I think first what I should do is have a Okay, I'm gonna go eat dinner in a second, but I should have a project.h, not project.c. Let's see. Okay, so first what I should do is have those blocks. So if I open up my napkin again, put it like right here. CosmoSynth file format napkin. So first I need block support. So what I'll have, or wait, no, this is the file format, but still, I will have the global sequencer, or root sequencer. Root sequencer. Now, in the root sequencer, I'll have an array of rows, I guess. And in each row, I will have an array of root sequencer area array, size t, area count, type def struct root sequencer area. Areas will be I think I'll start by using integers for the positions. So int 32t x y, uint 32t width, I'll start with that, Yeah, something like that. And then, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go eat dinner real quick and then I'll be back. Just, let the music play or something. You leave the stream, I guess, like, open. And I'll holler when I'm back. Oh, how do I set a message again? Really? How did I set a message when I used C matrix one time? Use. No, it was C matrix. I know for a fact it was C matrix. Also, on the subject of C matrix, I have this from my repos. They're now a transparent background. It must have been an older, yeah, it was an older version of C matrix in the repos or something. Alright, well, I'm gonna leave this up on my screen. And I'll be back shortly. Alright, bitches, I'm back. I'm gonna put a little drink in a cup, and then I'm gonna write some more code. Oh. I should make another keyboard ASMR. It's been kind of dry here, so I need some lotion, but looks like I don't have any. Alright, well, I'm back. How you guys doing? Time to write some more code. Also, I should also check chats. No more fluxers. No. What's up, Luigi? Welcome. GPU audio SDK. Looks like I lost my audience, dang it. That's why I hate leaving my streams. Anyway. How do I want to do this? Wait, no, I need to do it up here. I try not to, but occasionally I will install something from the AUR. error. Okay, now I need to create that status. If not defined status H defines status H, and if type def enum status OK, status error failed to allocate memory. Const char status cster status H switch status case status OK, return OK, case status error failed to allocate memory, return failed to allocate memory, return unknown status. Cool. You know what I should do? I should make a screw include. There we go. And I should also define, what are some other things I should define? Also, what is wrong with the, screw and pull, screw define macros, yeah. screw enable VLA. No, screw enable VA. Screw enable VA, yeah. Right, and then I need to open impl. I also need that attribute, the printf attribute. CP C water src portable macros. VS and printf. It's another thing. Oh. Ooey. So my UI library is just yes.h in French. That's pretty funny. Я не знаю французский язык, но я знаю русский язык, потому что у меня есть семьи из Украины. Ну, мой родной язык английский, потому что я американец. Root sequencer. Хорошо, хорошо, хорошо. Yeah, I speak Russian because I have family from Ukraine, Eastern Ukraine to be exact, which is where like no one really knows Ukrainian, just Russian. Like my mom doesn't speak Ukrainian. She was taught it in school but never learned it. But her native language is Russian. So I need to refactor this. Yeah. So, first off, I need to wonder if I could finagle this into a 1D array. I probably could. I don't know if I should. Yeah, I probably should not, but what I can do, I'm gonna include screw include H. And then what I'm gonna do is have, let's see, I'll have the root sequencer will have a screw dynamic array of rows. Root sequencer row. And then the root sequencer row will have a screw dynamic array of areas. Type root sequencer area. I only know how to say "Я люблю бабушек с членами." You love some... Is that like improper conjugation or something? You must have spelled that wrong. I don't know. It's not ringing any bells in my head. Я люблю бабушку с чилицами. Yeah, I love babushka with... What is chilitsami? Or chilitsami? Oh. Oh. Okay. Okay, блядь, okay. It kind of reminds me of like people with the name Peter, and then they go to Russia and everybody's laughing when they say their name. If you know, you know. Я люблю бабушкины блюдо с чили. It's a chili. Oh yeah, you like Machinarium? I actually do have how do you spell it? Oh my god. I got it right. Let's see. Let me keep typing. So what was the? Forgot what the on the Russian phonetic keyboard is. Oh, that's ch. Where is it? Yeah, or no, Mickey's knock, not the. Skliar. No, Skliar. Igor Skliar. Oh wait, that's the artist field. Did I spell that right? Really? Oh. There we go. I'm gonna play that right now. Мягкий знак. Yeah. Good morning, evening. No, this is actually the same machine. I just installed my minimal Hyperland Rice because I was getting tired of the blurriness. Camarova. I mean, I do like funk, so I don't know if is it still based. And I mean, when I say funk, I mean like funk, not Brazilian funk. I do like some Brazilian funk, but most of it's shit. But I like funk. Like for example, Diversed. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hello, David Loco. Are you new to my streams? My previous rice, yeah, I love it too, but it's blurry on here. iPhone Kupi? Do you like iPhone Kupi? I don't know what that is. This is like buying an iPhone. I've never heard of that song. I indulge in Alexander Reback. No judgment either way. This is kind of fire. Yeah. Let's see. Right. So I have my rose. Now I gotta actually create stuff. So root. I'm gonna create a scope. Screw dynamic array result. Screw dynamic array. New. Size of size of root sequencer row. if result is okay, then I want to set root sequencer dot rows to result data okay. Else I want to say error result data error. So I should create a function that's like error status. Oh shit. What did I? Oh, I put it in my status from screw dynamic array status. Result data error. I'll create that function here in a little bit. Old Russian synth pop. Most Russian music is just a vibe. I don't know. Russia is really good at making music that just lives in your head rent free. Nazare is a good song. Not sure that's the actual spelling, but whatever. Seems right. Nice. The Toxic the Toxic Avenger is another peak artist. Do you like muy marmelade? Marmeladny. The song. Never heard of it. I think really the only Russian artists that I know of are Yeva, Vintage, and Igor Sklyar. But speaking of which, I have a vintage song that lives rent-free in my head. Did I spell that right? I think or is it in English? What if I go back to Russian and just put an E? Really? Really? Okay. Well, that got cut off at the knees. I also like hard bass. Hard bass. I'm also gonna edit my error macro to be like this. Okay, so once I assign that, I also have to assign, well, I guess I don't have to assign anything so far. Actually, there's got to be a better way to do this in a two-dimensional vector situation. I think there might be. What if instead I don't have a row? Instead I have an area. Yeah. And the X and Y will encode the row and stuff. Right, and then after I assign the areas, I got to, yeah, that's it so far. Now I need to create the free function. If project root sequencer if, actually, I think I have, let me check real quick, dynamic array. Screw impl. Macros. Free. Yeah. So I already handle, like, I can just go screw dynamic array free project root sequencer areas. I can just go ahead and do that. Let me also go ahead and create this function status. Switch status case screw dynamic array status OK, return status OK. Case screw dynamic array status error failed memory alloc, return status error failed to allocate, or failed memory allocation. Failed memory allocation. I'll put this on a new line as well. Out of bounds, case screw dynamic array status error out of bounds, return status error out of bounds. Solnechная leta. Great song. Sounds like it, but I've never heard that song before. Never even heard of it. Mulchka domna. Alright, cool. By the way, does anyone actually learn anything when watching my streams? That's something I'm sometimes curious about. Do I actually end up teaching people something when I just program on a stream? Not that it matters that much, but, like, Because that's not my main intention when streaming, but I'm wondering if that's like an awesome side effect or something. I mean, am I too smart though? You can always learn something. Also, did you know that with size of you can actually do this? But, apparently it's not letting me. But I've seen that before. Ah, you're one of them programmers. I know your type. Program in Python and R. Oh yeah, making programming languages is pretty fun. I showed this earlier in my stream. I have a thing I made called PulseVM, where it's a virtual machine for generating samples of a waveform, and I have my own assembler and my own assembly flavor for it. So I have, like, for example, here's the virtual machine test. All handwritten, by the way. All 2,292 lines. Half the library in the repo, half the library is literally just assembly. The other half is the actual C implementation. C is really fun because it's a language that doesn't lie. Like, other languages lie to you in order to seem more majestic, whereas C's like, okay, fuck you if you don't understand me, but if you understand me, welcome. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's C. Ugh, MATLAB, get that shit out of there. Ugh. You know MATLAB's a proprietary programming environment, right? That's like paying for a C compiler. Yeah, that's dumb. I do like me a little bit of Desmos though. I don't think I'm signed into Desmos, so I have to access this stuff via my website. I do a bit of Desmos fuckery here and there, where I'll have like here's a little circle generator thing I made because I needed to generate circles for something I was making. I also have, yeah, I'm not signed in. I also have my latest project here, which is, I'll pause the music for this. Sound synthesis in Desmos. And here's all the math behind it too. So yeah, that's the kind of thing I do in Desmos. Wow, a lot of chat messages. Hold on, let me read them. Sound synthesis. Yeah, Desmos has a tone function, And I use list comprehension in Desmos to basically split up a list into multiple tone function calls that add up onto each other naturally due to how speakers work. Yeah, you can play audio on Desmos. So what I was talking about is, am I allowing... that? Nope. So what I was talking about is like, you can play a tone like this, and you can play multiple tones by simply just making multiple calls. So like for example, you get the idea. Now what I can also do, I'll bring the chat over. So what I can also do, oh, by the way, how I learn all this, I just exist on the internet for long enough to learn this stuff. So what I do is I create an array. So like for example, I can create an array like this. What did I do? Yeah, so here, 100 elements. And now what I can do is, for example, I can plot sine waves for all of these elements. So 2 pi a x. So that will just plot all of them. And I can create a function that's like called f, and it will take in x and just return x. I'll also create another function called m, and it will take 1 divided by m. And then what I'll do is I'll just plug fa in here divided by ma. Oh boy. What did I do? No, times ma, sorry. Times ma. So that will plot all the sine waves as separate graphs. And then what I could do is, instead, I would like to total this new list created from whatever that is, and see I get a sawtooth wave. And then what I can do is take the tone function and do fa ma. It's not playing. Interesting. Oh, you know what it is? Right, and it's a really low frequency, so it's gonna sound like that. But if I do instead like 440 times this, and then I'll just do in here, or instead of doing 440 here, I'll just do 440 here. Boom. It's not actually a Fourier transform. A Fourier transform is reversing. It's unmixing a bucket of paint. What I did is mixing a bucket of paint. So you're on the right track. You've got the right idea, but in reverse. But yeah, the Fourier transform is absolutely amazing. I love it. I'm probably gonna implement a Fourier transform here shortly too, possibly, depending how far I get. So, okay, create a project. I got freeing the project. Does this build? Yes, it does. I think what I'm going to do in UI is I'm going to say, I'm going to have a global project So back in project H, I'm going to say get global project. Project. Project global get is what I'll call it. Or just project get global. And I'll have a static project global project. And what I'll say is yeah, Desmos is sadly not FOSS, but it shouldn't be too hard to create a Desmos clone. You just have to know how Desmos does stuff. Like, for example, when I pass an array to an expression, like if I pass an array into that capital M function I made earlier, it creates another array where capital M is applied to every element of the old array. And that's how Desmos list comprehension works. And the way you turn that array into a single value is you use something like a total, for example, to add them all up, like a discrete sum. I'm also going to have to add a disclaimer. Warning, may return null. So I have that in there. What I could do as well is have a parameter that's like, no, have another function. Load global project. Const, or I'll say status project load global. Const jar path. And I'll say if path is equal to null, project, I'll say const project result equals project new. If result is okay, I'll set global project to result data okay. Global project valid equals true. And else I'll return result data error. Return status okay. Else load from disk. Actually, is it disk or disk? Disk or disk? Tea time already? I challenge you to make an LFS. LFS is kind of a meme. I'm actually making my own distribution from scratch, but it's not via LFS, because LFS is actually a distribution. Sum of 1 to infinity. I don't know if Desmos has the concept of infinity. Oh, that's another thing. Project name. Project name. So const char name. Yeah. Now, in project new, the name, I'll have a function that gets project name. So, get project name or default. Const char project get name. Project free, yeah, and then down here it'll say if project name equals null, return unnamed project, or I'll say new default project. Else, and then I'll say return project name. There we go. And in free, project free, I'll say if project name equals null, or is not equal to null, I'll actually create a macro. Because this is a pattern I'm going to use a lot, so. X. And I want to say X is equal to null. Null. Like that. free and null. Project name free. What is the error? Aha. There we go. Actually, you know what? I will just make this char. And then I'll say, just for sake of completeness, I know it's already null, but you know, I want to do that for code readability reasons. Unload global project, if any. Void project unload global. If global project valid, global project valid equals false. And then I want to do project free global project. Like that. And then, in main, under, I need to include project H, and under end, I want to say project unload global. Like that. Boom. Yeah, I'm using a Helix. I have, welcome, Kudashin. Welcome. I have a very specific reason to use Helix, on top of other things, but one thing I really love about Helix is this. The multi-cursors. And the fact that each cursor has its own clipboard and state and stuff. It's a plugin in Vim, but it's a really bad plugin. It like uses true color and it like forces yellow on you and stuff. It's weird. And I hate when true color is forced on you. True color being like here is the terminal using my color palette that I set for the terminal itself, right? Like this is Gruffbox red. Let me do green, for example. Okay, here's Gruffbox green. Now let me do true color green, which would be I believe 48 to 0 255 0 M. Well, wrong target. is 2. Do I have to do 38? Yeah. So, like, here is Gruvbox green, and then here's True Color green. True Color green is using RGB values, whereas Gruvbox green it's just using what I configured for my terminal. Object verb, I believe what he's referring to with that, and by the way, this is kind of loud. What he's referring to by object verb is if I want to do something in Helix, I don't, instead of saying what I want to do and then what I want to do it to in Helix, instead I select what I want to do something to, then I do it. Like, for example, in Vim you do DD to remove a line. And it's like delete, and then the second D selects what you want to delete. For example, in Helix instead I do XD. And I can show you, like, for example, if I open another Helix, what I'm doing is I'm saying X, which selects the current line, and then D, which deletes the selection. So it's object first, then verb. Okay, so now what I'm going to do in main, or rather in UI, is I'm gonna say UI draw main, UI draw main. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say, what do I want to say? I want to have a button that's like if OUI UI TK button CTX mouse left load project font normal false and then I just want to say project load global, and for now I'm just gonna say null. To do file picker. So I'm gonna put null in there for now. I need to include project.h. And then yeah, so that will load a project. I should also edit the project load global to say I should have a buffer instead. Project TMP. Project TMP, I should say, I should actually say result. And then what I can do is just say TMP is equal to project new. And then I can say down here, result TMP. If TMP is okay, then I want to say project unload global to first free the project. Yeah, so like that. And then I can also in the UI UI draw main. So I should actually call this main underscore menu. Screen main menu. Main menu. Yeah, like that. And then in here I can say, I can have another draw text. Draw text CTX. I'll have a draw text F. Font normal, pause 0, and then what I can do is say project loaded project, and then pass in project get name for project get global, and in main I'll have a thing where before I enter UI I'll do I'll do const status results project load global null if results is not equal to status okay fprintf std failed to create default project status cster result go to fail. If project get global is equal to null, fprintf global project is not loaded, something went wrong. To protect from segmentation faults, and yeah. So that will be that. Draw text F, and you create this function now. Static void draw text F. OUI context CTX. Const char restrict FM format. I need a font OUI vec2 position. This is going to be a variadic function. I'm going to do printf adder 1 2 3 4 5 4 5. I'm going to include portable macros, so I have that printf adder macro. Adder printf. There we go. So now it will be a safe function because I'll get printf warnings if I pass in a bad format set of arguments. Yeah, WD to remove a word, exactly. I don't like Rust because the default behavior is to download stuff from the internet, and Rust has some other oddities. Like, for example, the Rust team refuses to support certain operating systems. Rust has all these weird edge cases too. Like, for example, if I have a thing like trait, my trait set language Rust, my trait pubfn foo, you know, like something like this, and like you're expected to implement this trait, but trait also has a lifetime, let's say. I think that's how you do it in Rust. So here's my trait, and it returns a string slice with a given lifetime. And then I have a struct foo that implements my trait for foo. I haven't programmed in Rust for a while, so I might be doing this wrong. It's like my trait a for foo a, and then pubfn foo stir, and you return, I don't know, something else. I've gotten into situations like this, but I don't remember the specifics. But yeah, so like this struct has a lifetime now to satisfy the trait, but Rust doesn't let me do this because I need to have something in my struct that uses this lifetime. So Rust has this ad hoc language feature where you have to do like ignore me phantom data a. You have to do something like this. Like Rust is full of weird situations where you have to do stuff like this. C is so damn simple that it stays consistent. Alright, good night. Alright, see ya. It's not that they don't like BSD, it's that they don't see the value in supporting it. Keep in mind, these people, a lot of Rust developers are like Mac OS users and Windows users and stuff. That's like the kind of people who work on the language itself. I'm gonna use screw string builder. I wouldn't say Rust is too not minimalist. Rust is a good language. I actually quite like writing Rust code. The thing is, Rust is just so complicated that it ends up needing weird, like, inconsistent ad hoc features to compensate for its weirdness. Like, there's a point where you decide to add so many rules, your rules actually start to clobber with each other. And then you have to add more rules to make those rules play nicely. And that's kind of the situation Rust is in. Whereas with C, there are so little rules to begin with that the rules never even see each other. They just work due to natural behavior. It's like how CPUs work. At their core, CPUs are actually quite simple, but that simplicity is so modular that they just work. That's kind of like what C is. Let's see. I want to do if screw string builder put printf SB format. Well, I guess it has to be vprintf AP. VA list AP VA start AP format VA end AP. VA start, VA end, and I just gotta pass an AP into there. Is not equal to string screw dynamic array status. Okay, what does this return? I think it returns screw status. Then go to fail. And then I just want to do const jar cster screw string builder reduce SB free or screw free cster draw text ctx cster font position, like that. Yeah, and that should be my draw text f implementation if I did that right. And now if I do, like, for example, add another thing here, yeah, I get warnings. In this case, since I'm using W error in my compiler flags, they get promoted to errors. I just don't like that it's imperative. I really like the functional paradigm idea. Rust is kind of functional-like. I actually hate functional programming. I need my loops and mutating data and stuff. Honestly, the only paradigm that doesn't suck is the CPU paradigm. When I say that, I just mean, like, programming in a language that doesn't give a shit about weird paradigms, like, for example, C, and just does things because it mirrors kind of how the CPU does stuff. Recursion is great, but you don't need to be boxed into it. You can just use it when you need it. Like, for example, when I'm writing a parser, I use recursion. Will I make a video explaining screws and OUI? Probably not. Probably not dedicated videos. I might make a video about, like, tricks to make C fun to program in, like how to make a dynamic array and stuff, but never, like, about a specific library. I do plan on making an introducing OUI video, though, so, like, I can get some attention on it and get some contributors and stuff, like a video talking about OUI and how it's used and stuff. No, the functional hate is the fact that functional programming is just unneedlessly restricted. It's needlessly restricted. Like, you should be able to mutate a variable. That's not being able to do so is just needlessly convoluted and kind of dumb. I get that there is a situation where that might be okay, but that's literally like where that might be a good thing, but that's where const comes in. Like, for example, if I wanted to create a variable that I want to promise doesn't get mutated later on, I just const it, and then when I try and reassign to it, the compiler complains. You don't need weird paradigms to write good code. In functional programming, the idea is you don't mutate any data once you create it. So, like, that's why, for example, you need recursion, and why you can't have loops, is because what a loop does is it mutates a variable that increments. That's why. Load project. Right. Screen main. Oh, I did it again. Yeah. Like that. Screen main menu. The fuck? Okay, if TMP is okay, unload the global project, set the global project, and then set it to valid. The what? Yeah, the fuck? It's gotta be something wrong in main. No. What could it be? Really? Really? Also, add a check up here if project equals null. return no project loaded. That's not right. Yeah, okay. Wow. The fuck? The, global project valid. I gotta go with great project stream music taste. Alright, see you later. Bye-bye. Hope to see you in another stream. I might stream tomorrow for a little bit, but I'm not sure, because I think I'm going back to my mom's tomorrow. Why is this not working? Well, that wasn't the issue. What on earth? Oh. What? Oh, I know why. Oh my god. That's why. Yeah. Also, I wonder why. This is not showing the active color consistently. Interesting. Well, I have my new default project at least. ASAN's not complaining. How long have I been streaming for? How long? Zira. Does it say? Uh-huh. Wow, so a 2.5 hour stream. Okay, well, for those of you who are here, I'm going to play a little bit of Super Tux Kart. And then probably end the stream. Dang it. Nah. Thanks. I hope to see you in another stream. I'm about to end the stream here, so I figured I'd play some Super Tux Kart for the ending. Because I've been streaming for about 2.5 hours. Ugh. There we go. I need to practice Super Tux Kart more. Accidentally deleted my Super Tux Kart save, so I'm redoing it. Alright, see ya. What the fuck? Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Ugh. Bruh. There we go. Oh, now I get bubblegum? I am, bro. Oh, I missed the Super Tux level speed. Dang it. Okie dokie. Ah. Oh my god. Oh, I could have used a fly swatter to get rid of the parachute. Dang it. Oh, if you want to ask a question, I've got yeah, there's always the YouTube comment section, but I've also got, you can DM me on Fluxer, Stoat, Matrix, send me an email. If you want to DM me in Discord, my username is Oglo the Nerd. I'm currently just doing my end of stream, a little bit of a gaming sesh to end the stream off. Well, oh shit. Wow, I lost that. What about this? And this will be the last track of the stream. Oh wait, it's a nitro collector. I joined the Discord but not see my post anymore. It was about about your setup and how easy you seem to be able to switch windows, and if you forgot to download a package you can easily open and do it and work. Okay, so I'm using a tiling window manager, Hyperland in this case. Hyperland. land hyper.land. On Linux, the distro I'm running on my desktop right now is I'm running CashiOS, which is an Arch-based distro. And when I need something, yeah, I just do I install it via the system's package manager. So like if I need raylib, sudo pacman-s raylib. And obviously I have it, so I don't need to reinstall it. But yeah, that's my setup in a nutshell. Alright, I'm gonna end this stream now. So, bye-bye.